it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you for joining me again today. Today's project is this one. It's a slim box, nothing particularly special about that, you may say. However, look what's inside. It's our new Take Your Pick tool. It comes in just an ordinary cardboard box which you slide it out of, but I wanted something that I could have on my desk, that I could open and have all the bits, because I can see bits going missing. The tool is this, but it's got interchangeable pieces. So you get the tool, you get a little spatula, you get a piercing tool, you can pop them in, and then you can see there, hopefully you can see there's an unlock and a lock, so you just twist it. There's a cover, because particularly that one you do not want to get stuck into you. And then there's also a double-ended embossing tool. So really helpful, really useful, but I can see bits going missing. So I thought I would make a box. Now the other thing that the real amazing bit of this is, let me grab that. So I use these IKEA kitchen storage units and a magnetic board for things like my sequins. So picking up sequins, not that easy unless you've got your pick tool, because it's got this little gunk stuff in it which is sort of tacky, and you just pick it up. Oops, you just pick it up. It's brilliant. It's not tacky, it's not, you know, really sticky. It is not as sticky as the glue you're going to want to then stick it onto. And then when this piece gets no longer sticky, you wipe it off and you turn this screw very gently, and some more glue comes out. It comes with a spare of the adhesive, and you can get more of these, so you can get replacements. So this is in the new autumn winter catalogue. It's going to be brilliant, and I just thought it would be really nice to have somewhere for it to call home, so that all the bits didn't go missing, because as I say, I can just see, just knowing my ability to lose things, I wanted a box. So I've kept the plastic that it came in, because that's obviously a really useful storage area. So I've just made a box that's the right size. So the box itself measures 8.25 by 3 in round terms, and this fits in here really neatly. So it's a snug fit, which means that it's going to stay in there quite nicely, and the depth is 3/4 inch. So let me show you how to make one, so that then when you get yours, you'll have something to store it in. So we're starting with a piece of basic black cardstock. This is 8.25 by 9.75. So with the 9.75 side at the top, we're going to score twice, just once at 3/4 inch, and then you can score at 9 inches, or you can do what I like to do, which is turn it round and score it at 3/4 again. Then I know that those two side pieces will be exactly the same height. And then your 8.25. Now, International A4 cardstock is a hair of a smidge narrower, wider than 8.25, and I mean a hair and a smidge. My hands are filthy. I apologise. It's this much wider, so you do need to trim it down, otherwise you're going to be out slightly. So do take that little bit off. So 8.25 by 9.75, with the 8.25 at the top, you want to score at 3/4 and 3.75 and 4.5 and 7.5. Now this I'm going to make sure I remember is going to be the lid, because this is basically a pizza box. And the reason I'm saying that is because this is going to potentially not be exactly 3/4 of an inch. So to do that, I'm going to make sure that I'm in the middle of my card, which I am, because our grid paper has got, I think it's slightly out of the shot, it's got a 0 and then works out as well. So I can then take my just ordinary pencil and make a mark here. I'm going to need to know where the middle is in the fullness of time. So I now know that that is the middle and that this is the front of my box. So, as ever with card, I will burnish all my score lines and then we can stick it all together. I'm going to use multi-purpose liquid adhesive. You could use the tear and tape. I'm not a fan of snail for this because for boxes it's not quite strong enough. So you've got squares, so 3 down each side, and all you're going to do is wedge into each one of those squares. So that's clearly need to clean my hands and my snips. So I'm just wedging into the squares and keeping the rectangles straight. So a straight rectangle and a wedged square. And I'm just going to quickly whiz round because there are a lot of corners. And then just take off our little pieces if they haven't already come. And then do exactly the same on the other side. And of course, just as I'm going to do this, the sun's going in and possibly going to rain again. We are going back into what I will call a more normal English summer now, and I'm not unhappy. I enjoy hot weather. I didn't like the humidity much, but if it comes back, I won't be sorry. I'm having to put, you know, proper clothes on rather than just a strappy top and shorts. Right, okay, so gluing. Now, this is our lid. So this is going to be our basic box. I am going to just fold the lid back on itself because it will make putting everything else together a little easier. Multi-purpose liquid adhesive. Fold in the flaps at this end, and then because liquid adhesive is white and the cardstock is black, you will be able to see what I'm doing. And I'm not going mad because I want it to stick rather than warp things. So I'm just going to then bring the side up and just hold it in place. And again, bring the side up and hold it in place just a wee while so that we know that that's well and truly stuck. And then just with my bone folder, just go over that seam just to make sure that everything's spread out and it's glued down properly. And then do the same again on the other side. So obviously, because we've now got one side stuck down, nothing's going to go flat. But again, just add some liquid adhesive, and that folded edge is the one to make sure you've got covered with your glue, because that's the one that really matters. The rest are important, but not vital. And then what I often do is slide it into place, particularly if I've put a little bit too much glue. And then again slide it so that it's in place, and then on its end and press. And I'm putting quite a reasonable amount of welly behind that so that I know it's properly stuck. And then we can make our lid. As I say, this is basically just a pizza box, so it's not a difficult construction. And it's quite, it uses slightly less card than if you're doing a lidded box, because obviously you've got you don't have to do this bit twice. So if you can get the box out of your the card that you're using, then this is quite a good way to use your card. And then that just all closes up and is perfect. So, right, now I'm going to just extend this line down a wee bit, because what we're now going to do is pop our designer series paper on, and I'm using the Broadway, Broadway something, Broadway bound specialty designer series paper from the annual catalogue, and I have cut one piece at 8 1/8 by 7 and 4 and 7. Ugh, it's not 4 and anything. 8 1/8, scrappy notes. 8 1/8 by 2 and 7/8, one of those. 2 at 8 1/8 by 5 1/8, and 2 at lost one of them, at 2 7/8 by 5 5/8. Now they're not going to match round the side. I can get over that. So all I'm going to do is, strangely, I'm going to put the adhesive on the box. I know often you put it on the designer series paper, but because I've got such a small margin, I'm going to do it this way round. That's a lump. Take that off with my ever increasingly filthy hands, and then just scribble, and then I can pop my designer series paper on, and it really is a very small margin. We've only got a 1/16 of an inch either side, and then if I rub that, that'll come off. And then I'll just open that up and just press from the other side. So that's that. And if I pop everything back together again, I'm just going to whiz round and stick everything down. And again, I'm going to put the glue on the box, not the other way around, because I just find with these sorts of really narrow edges, it's easier to do it this way round. And then just sort of spread it a wee bit so that you know you've got your ends covered. And the other long edge. And those short edges are actually the most important bit, because they're the things that are going to catch. So just make sure that those are well covered with glue, and then, as I say, just sort of smoosh it a bit so that you know you've got the ends of... Am I in the camera? I'm just in camera. Let me get that back up. And then I'm just going to, whilst it's still a little bit damp, I'm just going to open this up properly again, and then just burnish the back, just to make sure that everything is properly stuck on the lid, on the large piece of the lid. That's better. That's better. And then we've just got to do these ends, which is quite difficult because it's quite a big box in one dimension. So, and then again, just spread it, use itself as the spatula to spread it a bit. And then the other end. And I haven't put any additional decoration on. You could, but because this is going to be a working box, I really didn't think it was necessary. But you could, if you wanted to gift the Take a Pick tool, and what a lovely gift that would be, then you could of course put a belly band and all that good stuff. So let's just make sure everything is properly stuck down just by burnishing it from the back. And then if we take our... Oh, I know one thing I've forgotten, so let's actually take that out again, because I forgot something. I've got a really important thing, which was the reason I was marking the middle. So I've got my 1/4 inch hole punch, no, 1.5 inch hole punch, and I'm just going to come in here and make a snip. Bear with me.
I could have left it if you were busy.
All right, don't worry.
All you got to do is give me a nod and go, I'll have left it.
Thank you.
No worries, have a great weekend.
Thank you, bye. Oh, have to get that. It's the UPS man. Anyway, so yes, I'll be filming that in a minute. So all I'm doing is taking the 1/2 inch circle punch and popping it in with the little mark that I've got, and I'm putting it as far in as I can put it, and then just that. So then take a pick tool, drop it in the box, close it up, and there you are. Perfect. So I hope you enjoyed that. Look out for this. It's gorgeous. I'm loving it. So thank you very much indeed for watching. If you come back soon, you'll probably see what's in my box. I've already done one unboxing, but there's more. So thank you very much indeed. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you need any of the bits that I've used today, the link to my online store is below, and the link to all the dimensions is immediately below. Thank you very much indeed.